I do not know how many C's you learnt before I joined, because last I heard was another C which was being added by the great speaker. Am I right? I hope we all are, since the lunch time has been quite away, we all are alert and we all are wanting to hear to what all of us are here to talk about. So the whole Congress is on Word Quality Congress and Awards. So I believe since morning we have been hearing about quality. And we also belong to various industries, various ways, various kinds of functions, and we have our own perspective of quality. And therefore, towards the end of this day, if we are able to add a few more perspectives, or we are able to reinforce some of the perspectives which would have been added since morning, I think this panel discussion would have some value. So I had a company, and I'm sure many of us in this room are heading an enterprise or heading a company. We all know business. We also know how the business is measured for its performance. In current day world, everybody talks about everything else, but at the end of the day, what are the revenues? What is the profit? What is your market share? What's your rank in the industry? What is now another big thing which is coming up and which gets talked a lot is, what is your market cap? And now, with the way the index is moving, it's the talk of the town. And if your market share goes up, even without your efforts, you feel extremely good because the world recognizes you, and if it's going down, you don't know why it is going down. So in this very, very competitive world, the metrics is clear. When the metrics is clear, is this finally, I know it's the outcome, it's the result, but how does it happen? All of us belong to various industries, and we know how does it happen. We have various kinds of products or services we offer, and we have customer. We have product, service, or we have customer, and the connection between the product, service, and the customer is that line, that hyphen, which has lots of functions, actions, processes happening from procurement to R&D, to manufacturing, to logistics, to sales, to marketing, to customer experience. A whole lot of things are happening in that. All of these eventually lead to what we talked about: revenues, profit, market share, market rank, etc., etc. But there is some company doing very well, and there's some company not doing well. There's some company on the top of the chart. And to my mind, in my small experience of over 45 years, I felt one parameter which links all of them is quality. I belong to a regulated industry. I have spent my life in pharma. I worked for all the MNCs, all the leading MNCs of the world. And now I'm part of RPG Life Sciences after my superannuation. Frankly, this is my second stint. But one thing which was very clear in my mind, which I concluded in my mind, is quality. If you are understanding quality vis-a-vis your industry, if you are understanding quality, how does it get manifest in your function, the role which you are doing, I think eventually it will definitely lead to all the financial metrics people are talking about today. So I felt very nice that the topic is quality. And we all know, in case of, for example, in pharma, for the medicines, it is effectiveness, it is the safety, it is the tolerability, it is the patient compliance, which are some of the measures of quality. In case of manufacturing, it could be defects in the product, which you normally notice, or reliability, predictability, supplies, the cost effectiveness, all of these parameters. In case of, say, airline industry, in the airline industry, you will see it is punctuality, it is safety, it is aesthetics, it is cost effectiveness, all of that put together. And likewise, quality has many forms, formats, manifestations, when we talk about various industries put together. And last but not the least, before I introduce the panel and before I request them to give their perspective, and there is something special in today's panel today, which I talk about, is in India today is on a roll. I think we all need to feel proud of that India today is on a roll. The way I feel very proud about the pharmaceutical industry vis-a-vis India, we are today the pharmacy of the world. 50% of the medicines which are consumed to treat their ailments in the US are manufactured by India. 70% of the agents which are called preventive agents, called vaccines, is manufactured by India. No matter how much talk might happen on quality, but we are the world's pharmacy. We have brought down the mortality rate of the world, of this country by 10 percentage point. We have brought down the morbidity rate by 10 percentage point. We have increased the life expectancy by over 10 years in the last few years, thanks to the pharmaceutical industry, which exists in the world, and we are the pharmacy to the world. It is a dire need for us in value chain to move up, whether our competitive index has to move up, whether our GDP has to move up, whether we have to become number 1, number 2, number 3 rank in the GDP. I think all of that is too critical for India. And for all of that, I think one word we should remember is quality. And I have collected the details of the esteemed panelists whom you see today. It is a very interesting panel, I should mention. And that interesting panel we have Mr. Dharmendra Narang. He represents securities and capital markets, yet another industry. And he comes from IIFL Securities. He has experience in Stock Holding Corporation, ICICI, Syntel, Motilal Oswal, all the good names to talk about. Then we have Madam Kavita Kaushik. She comes from an engineering background, and she comes from a renowned house called Cummins, and a lot of interest in training. So I think a lot of perspective on the training also will come out from when we speak to Madam Kavita. And then we have Ramesh Shamurugesan. He comes from manufacturing, shared services, outsourcing, all the kinds of industries, and he has a background from Accenture. Currently, he's from Sagility, which was earlier HES Healthcare. And we have Sachin Fatangare. He again comes from engineering background, and the company is Ingersoll Rand, Gardner, Denver, Praj are the kind of the companies he has worked for. So representation from the ITES, BPM industry, securities, capital market industry, engineering industry, manufacturing, outsourcing industry, and bit of pharmaceutical coming from me. I think one couldn't have asked for more industries. And to have a holistic perspective of quality. Is there some running thread, or it is a different animal in different companies? So therefore, I move here, and now it's for you to share with the audiences. Request is to give you your personal experiences in your respective organizations so that people benefit. I'm not going to talk about Six Sigma because I believe everybody can go to the textbook and find out what Six Sigma is. But it will be great if you share your personal experience. So the first question is, what does quality mean to your own company, in your industry? What is the way to put, if somebody has to put KPIs or key performance indicators of KPI or for quality, what would it be like?
I'll start, sir.
Please.
Am I audible? Yeah. So I work for a company called Sagility. We were formerly part of Indija Group. Our customers are primarily the US healthcare providers. It could be physicians, hospitals, or laboratories.
A bit louder, if you can get closer to that.
Laboratories, so these are our clients, US healthcare providers of healthcare services. What we do is, while they take care of providing efficient patient care, we work on collecting the revenues on their behalf, right? We manage the entire revenue cycle management for those providers. So the key to our business is how we are able to collect the revenue for them faster, in less amount of time and with less effort. So the success measures or the quality measures are around this aspect. How do we collect more cash with less time and with less effort? So some of the metrics that we track, which is a true representation of quality, is how many cents we invest to collect $1 of revenue. What is the average number of days in accounts receivable claims days? And what is the percentage of outstanding dollar value that remains aged beyond a certain number of days? And when it comes to quality, does each and every touch the associate makes on the claim, does it move the claim towards cash collection or a resolution? So these are some of the key critical metrics that are a reflection of the quality of work that we do with respect to the revenue cycle management. That's from my industry, sir.
Great, great. Now we move to just another very diverse industry, the capital market.
Thank you, Raj. Hi friends, I'm Dharmendra Narang from IIFL Securities. For IIFL Securities, we are into basically wealth management. And this is, I think, the very sensitive industry because it handles the funds of the clients. And very sensitive for the clients is because it means money. So the most critical is the experience which you deliver. So for me, the quality is more directly related to the experience of the customer. It is so sensitive that the comfort, see, today there is nothing called loyalty as such. There is no emotional attachment. It's end of the day, how you service the customer and how you manage his funds. So that makes the delivery. So there are n number of products and he has n number of touch points. So most important is how we are delivering uniform services at all touch points, at all the products. So any failure point is like there is a deficiency in quality. So quality of service directly relate to the retention of your customers. This is how we look at this is basic KPI for us.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's customer experience which counts the most. So thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. So my name is Sachin and I'm coming from the industry, Ingersoll Rand, where we are into manufacturing of liquid ring vacuum pumps. And those we are mainly supplying to all the renowned refineries and power plants, India and across the globe. And for us, we are not only selling the product, but we are giving the solution, technology to our customers. So for us, repeat customer is a quality, which is our motto that how many customers we are bagging, how many orders, repeat orders are there. That is our internal main KPI which we have taken. So as I said, we are not only selling the product, but we are selling the technology and engineer to order products we are giving to our customers, to all refineries and all. Thank you.
Excellent. Again, you're talking about the customer. Kavita ma'am.
Yeah. Nitin already spoke on what Cummins is all about. So I'll talk about now in terms of what quality means to Cummins. So for Cummins, quality means, each word has a meaning on that. Has to be a transparent, digitally connected, able enterprise. So quality has to be an able enterprise inside the organization and should be able to satisfy or exceed customer requirements with the focus on zero defect mindset. So that is how we coined. And each of this word here had a meaning which we drove, what Nitin spoke through Amaze or through other things like proactive quality corridors or quality lanes when we introduce products. Okay, so while we do this, we have put proactive as well as reactive measures. Now you cannot go away from reactive measures. It is there because that is how the customer will speak to you once your product is a current product. Okay, so and that's where we have certain measures like before in service or the warranty COC or the repairs per 100. Okay, but the most important piece is we are focusing a lot on what we call as proactive measures. So what happens on the shop floor? How is the right first time happening on the shop floor? How are people trained in what we call as a behavior-based quality? Okay, because that's the social environment and management which people need to be there, because quality cannot, as we said, right, quality cannot be produced by the quality function. It is produced by the people who are working. It is produced by the person who is touching your product in the field as your dealer, as your this. So there are so many people who touch your product, your process. Those are the people who should know what is quality. Okay, so that's one real matrice. And another major, very important thing which we put in is the proactive quality. Okay, so proactive quality is nothing like in safety, as you have issues which you find it and fix it, the same thing which we put in for quality as well. How many issues each person working on the line has found out? Okay, and what has he done about it? Rather than someone else coming and solving from it. So these are certain of the measures which we have put, and one very important measure over the last 2 years we have put in is how proactive has been your launch of products. Okay, because it's very easy to work when it is reactive, but proactively as you launch the product, how good your launch has been with respect to your earlier launches. Okay, so these are certain things which we put in as measures for ourselves, and I think we are on the right journey to move ahead.
Absolutely, I think you are on the right journey, the way you described the proactivity part. Over to Deb.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Deb Kishore Datta. I've been with the BPO industry, BPM today we call it, and it falls under the ITES, IT-enabled service. I'll give a little perspective of the last 20 years of the journey to define what quality is today, what it was not yesterday. So 20 years back, about a decade back when it started, ITES, IT-enabled service. All of you have called customer care. You have called telephone customer care, technical help desk customer care, right? BFSI customer care. We handle customer service. 2 decades back, what was needed is, am I adhering to the standards? What is happening to the customer is the company's problem. Say, for example, you have multiple clients, be it Airtel, be it a Vodafone, be it a telecom, be it a bank. They'll say, you do whatever you have to do, we'll figure out customer experience, but you better do what you have to do. A decade back, that became e-com. E-com, the same person sitting here has 2 customers, the caller, the customer, and the seller. Today we order food, 3 customers, the customer who's eating, the vendor who's making, and the entire delivery system. So the same person is doing that, and today it has moved further. We are talking about whatever you see on social media, say the content, in 30 seconds when you upload your content, it goes to the entire friendship that you have, it goes through moderation. What if someone uploads explicit document? That has to be quality controlled. So what earlier was meeting standards is given. You have to do it. We have to go back to a customer, say how zero defect can be achieved with delight. Zero defect with delight. Zero defect is basic in our environment today, but the delight has come in. So going that extra mile is what it is today.
Thanks, Deb. I could see, everybody could see the passion with which you're talking about that what quality actually means. One word which was coming out, everybody talked about is customer experience, customer satisfaction, customer delight. And I think it is just a precursor to revenue, profit, market share, rank, which I just talked about. So thank you very much for bringing out. There was a common thread, and one can be very clear that eventually every industry has a customer, and if your focus is on a customer, every process gets related to the customer. That becomes your KPI. I think the business metrics or business excellence or customer delight will automatically follow. My next question is, we heard about the KPI, we heard about what quality means to various industries. The next question is, how? How do you make sure that the quality is into every part of your organization? What I'm referring to, could you just give some inkling on the technology, whether you're using technology or they are using some other way to make sure that the quality is ensured in your respective industry? Maybe you can also indicate if there are some difficulties you're facing when you are implementing those measures that eventually lead to quality. And I think that will give a little more insight about how part of the quality. So to you, Ramesh.
Yeah. So like I said, our focus is on managing the revenue cycle for the providers in the US. So I'll talk about a particular project that we did. So the as-is situation was the associate works on different claims in a day, right? So probably you'll work on a first in, first out basis, or you'll pick up the simple claims and work on it, or you will work on the claims that is assigned to him by the team leader, etc. What we found out as an opportunity area in the present way of working is the associate working on the right claim? And number one. Number two, is he working on the claim in the right way? So two questions that came up. And the solution that we thought of is, we have a huge set of data, which we have been doing that work for so many years. So we just looked into the last 3 years of claim processing data, looked at around 30 different variables that determine the collection potential of a claim, right? How many dollars you can collect, how fast you can collect, etc. So we developed an analytics machine learning model using random forestry algorithm, wherein we studied around 30 different variables that impact collection efficiency of a claim. And using that model, we were able to successfully divide the entire claim population into 3 different clusters. One that is highly payable, second that is moderately payable, and the third category which is low payable claims, right? So, and then we integrated this model into the workflow tool that we have. And then each claim that comes into our system, it gets stamped as a high payable, medium, moderately payable, or a low payable claim. On any given day, when an associate logs into his system, he will have to first process all the high probability, high payable claims, then switch over to the moderately payable claims, and then to the low payable claims. So what it does in terms of outcomes is, the available bandwidth in the system, in the team, it gets utilized on those claims that can give a better value creation or better revenue generation for the customer, right? Which is very key for this business. And what is the impact that we are talking about? To quote some numbers, through the implementation of this machine learning model, we were able to generate an additional $500,000 revenue in the very first year of inception on a business where we had an annual revenue of close to around 11 million. So it's around 5 to 6% improvement we were able to generate just by doing this simple machine learning project deployment. And that's an outcome we got for the customer in terms of improving the customer experience. And since it is also a contingency-based project, it also means that there is a revenue creation for Sagility, which is our organization. That way, it contributes to the business excellence, which is inward focusing, right? So this is one critical project that we did, a quality improvement project that impacted customer experience as well as business excellence.
Excellent, excellent. Dharmendra.
I normally divide the delivery of quality in 2 pieces. Okay, I will not get into how to evaluate the quality. All of you are experts. So there are 2 things. Suppose we are delivering as of today, say 10 products. So there are 10 teams who are managing each product. And everybody knows it is the technology which end of the day decides the end product, right? So each team has its own quality. So it is important that how you are using technology to ensure a defect-free output of that. So any defect-free output, how you will analyze. End of the day, all these 10 are getting integrated into one place, one interface, which is of the customer, right? So that depends upon how simplified it is. See, we have seen the turnaround when you make the UI UX simple, the interaction with the customer simple. And if that is defect-free, that is where the delivery is. So we used to have a large desk of customer service agents who used to handle the queries. Then we realized that it is not important to have number of agents. It is important to have how your technology is to service the customer. Customer is, what customer hates is to stand in the queue, right? Customer hates to wait for the answers. So everything today, whether you talk about Millennium or you talk about Zen Alpha or anybody, they want to do it by themselves. They don't want to depend on anybody. They hate calling up anybody to figure it out. So how you simplify your solution using the technology, whether you use Gen AI or use any of the technology available in your sphere to the maturity level, that they are able to do it by themselves. That is the success story of most of the e-coms, right? So you don't look for every time when you take a Uber, Ola, or use Amazon, that who is the customer service agent. You even don't have the access to them. But you don't find that is a hindrance, right? You can do it by yourself. So that is the most important, is how it is simplified and how it is easy to use for the customer. Everything get interlooped such a simple way that customer doesn't feel the differentiation at the back end what is happening. But please understand, at back end, any failure, any process failure at any point of time of any product will directly impact the customer, and you may lose out the customer itself. So every miss out or any failure on your service end up losing a customer, and end of the day the revenue to the company. So that is how according to me, that is how we are delivering the quality per se.
Dharmendra, great. If you or Sachin can also indicate any difficulties, any obstacles you faced when...
Difficulty, I would say the major difficulty or which we overcome is when you start implementing the technologies. So you have to understand what you want to deliver and whom you want to deliver. The selection of technology and selection of the group of customers you want to deliver is important, because otherwise it can backfire. I given a simple example that in my customer base there are two sets of customers. One is pure retail and one is pure HNIs who have money, but they don't have time. So you have to, if someone calls my call center, the first thing, if he's a HNI customer, there is no technology per se. It is the customer, it is the agent who will handle him immediately. And he will take the ownership, he will take the issue and resolve it. So least technology, but he has the access to mobile, he has the access to all the data available. At the same time, if it's a retail customer, he has a 24/7 service available. But when he calls up my call center, there is a voice bot available which will answer, he writes to me, my email bot will answer. So I am managing the volume by using technology and HNI by using the human quotient. So that is how you have to balance it out.
Great example. Sachin, your perspective from Ingersoll Rand.
Yeah, so the products we are delivering is a heavy machinery, heavy fabrication. So multiple, as I said, we are selling the technology, multiple materials are there. So obviously technology is there, various kind of automation and testing facilities are there, but then human interventions, operators are always there. So I would like to share a small incident recently that had, though we have implemented all the systems, ERPs, traceability, but we found that one casual operator who was, loading the job for cutting on the machine, he found that the wrong material has been issued due to the stenciling or coding what is happened, and he reported to his, supervisor, and then we fortunately moved that out of the that process. The point I wanted to tell you that the techniques we are implementing is that ownership mindset. We are involving all our people, shop floor people, even a small operator, and trying to cultivate the ownership mindset in their mind. Unless and until there is a culture, quality culture is going to percolate to the bottom of the every human being or every employee, it is going to be very difficult to achieve, at least in our industry. So that is how we are finding, very good result out of that.
Excellent. And when I come to Kavita ma'am, I think you also have a big profile of, also MSME also is the part which you have dealt. I was reading your profile, and culture part, which came out very important. The culture of quality in the organization. Could you put a few points across? That will be great.
It's not very easy to build the culture of quality, because it is spread across, right from a person who is working on the shop floor or a person who is actually even doing some kind of an administrative work for you, even a cleaner inside your plant, or your dealers who touch your products, or anyone. So it's not an easy thing to have the same thread of behavior in terms of quality for all. Okay, so, and this at least around maybe 6 to 7 years back, we kind of came through this, hey, it was happening that, yes, if it is quality, it is the quality function who will take care of it. Okay, and somehow, there was a big need that how do we ensure that what I understand or what I feel about a customer requirement, everyone should feel so. So we brought in something like a very basic in terms of behavior-based quality modules, for our folks who are working on the shop floor, our folks who are touching our products in the field or this. And I think that has brought across a good amount of awareness. Okay, I cannot say that we are 100%, okay, because till the time you have any kind of a cost of coverage, till the time you go to zero defect, okay, it is going to be a journey. Okay, but that's one thing which we saw, that creating the right quality mindset has to go across everyone inside the organization.
Excellent. I think very, very well said. And I'm sure there is a very profound message that if we really want to ensure quality, the culture of quality becomes very, 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 very critical. And if I ask everybody, I'm sure everybody will have interesting stories to tell about. Let's hear the story coming from Deb now.
Let me just give you an example. Let me give you a story of how things are. We spoke about ITES, IT-enabled service. Call center, as I said, you would call up and we will provide with the help of IT, the telephony, the CRM, or the knowledge base. It has changed. It is service-enabled IT right now, not IT-enabled service. I'll give you an example. I think that will cover most of the answers. So right now, those days of BPOs and call centers are gone. I'll tell you an example. Just a few days back, we did the project. The same guy sitting at the chair in front of the computer is now doing what? We have this cab service in US, San Francisco. Some of you may already know. It's like an Uber. You go book the Uber, the cab comes in, the cab drops you to your house. Small little change. No driver inside the car. The car drives all by itself. Now that car has the probability of getting stuck on the road. Happens once in 1,000 chances. The moment that automated car stops, 3 controls, LiDAR, sonar, radar, gets transferred to a human being sitting in a laptop thousands and millions of miles away. Job of that person is to unstuck that car and move. Service enabled by IT, not IT-enabled service. What is expected from that human being right now? Is that, now what we do is we will check these people, how many mistakes do they make, the humans. Now what we did is a very fantastic thing. We have checkers and inspection. That AI which drives the car learns from SOPs and methods. AI learns more from failures than successes. Who gets the failures? BPM, nothing to do with technology of cars, BPOs. We fed that list of failures back to the AI. And the cars got lesser and lesser stuck. So just providing the great experience that you're unstucking the car, everyone, if I'm not doing it, someone else will do it. But I am saying that I will unstuck that car and ensure that the percentage of stuck of that car reduces because you're doing business with me. As I was saying, zero defect with a delighted experience. Zero defects gone from our industry.
Wonderful, wonderful. One couldn't have expressed this better than what you just expressed. Coming to pharma, I must say that the entire industry is governed by quality attributes. It's not the end product where the quality is defined. It is every step of the way, from procurement to R&D to manufacturing to logistics to marketing and sales. It is very clearly specified what are the quality attributes you need to follow. And we all hear US FDA approval happened in Lupin plant, it happened in Sun Pharma, it happened in Alchem plant. But my friends, anybody who is from the pharma industry would appreciate that it is a whole bunch of quality attributes from every part of functions which I described, the US FDA defines, every regulator defines, which the inspectors have to go through meticulously and report with the loads of documents back, and then only you get the approval. So if one has to define quality by design, I think pharma represents the right example. And talking about the culture, I think what little we practice is celebrate quality. Every single achievement on the lead indicators, all these quality attributes which we heard, in our case, very, very clearly specified, if they get achieved, we celebrate. We increase the awareness, and we also make sure that this behavior is rewarded in our case. And just adding to what you mentioned in terms of culture of quality. Last question is there an inspiring story which you have in your industry where quality, I was using the word celebrated, really had a celebratory impact, which had a huge impact, and that motivates everyone in the organization to care for quality? So, starting from you, Ramesh. I would request you if you can do it little quickly, because we are at just a few minutes away to close the discussion.
I can quote from my experience from my stint in Accenture, where we used to do, there used to be a team that used to work on visa processing for the employees who travel on cross-border assignments. So what happens, for example, for L1B visa, where the employee wants to travel from India to US, typically it takes about 9 to 11 weeks for him to get to know the result of his visa application, whether it's a pass or a fail. So by the time he gets to know the result, it becomes very difficult for the client executive. If in case there is a rejection, it becomes very difficult for the client executive to explain it to the client why he is not able to place the resource on time and start generating the revenues. So what we did is, again, there is a huge amount of data available within the system. We looked at last several years of data. We tried to create a predictive model which will mimic the result or the decision of the consulate, say about 2 to 3 weeks from the time he makes the application, right? So initially there were the agreement levels between the model that we created and the actual consulate decision, the agreement levels were low. Then we kept fine-tuning the model, and we were able to reach a level of around 70%, where 70% of the times the model was able to mimic the result which will be the actual result from the consulate. Now what it does is, this was a breakthrough project. It's a simple project where we used the available data which was sitting idle, right? But in terms of the confidence it brought in the minds of the client executive and the client, that Accenture is able to place or give a confidence that with a great degree of certainty that somebody will be placed in US on a certain date to start on a certain assignment, which was earlier not the case, right? So this was one typical project for a company like Accenture where the scale is huge. It made a lot of difference and created a wow experience for the client executive as well as the customers.
Excellent. Now, maybe very quick, in few sentences, Prezi writing
I'll take 2-3 sentences only.
Yeah.
In my case, I would say that, see, everybody is doing his best job. In our case, I have seen in the last couple of years, the best output has come through synergy. So where customer service is bringing all the stakeholders, or rather all the departments, all the products on a single table who are delivering the processes, and then look at the failure points and get them closed. And we have seen a huge impact in terms of turnover of the clients, in terms of trading experiences, and in terms of volumes. And which really clearly impacted the top line also. And end of the day, the bottom line.
Thank you. It was really short, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Short and sweet once again.
Sure. So I'll just tell you, 10 years back, across India, in all power plant, 90% product used to be imported, and in today I am proudly saying that at 90% power plant, our products are being installed, and that's only due to the quality and reliability of our product we have achieved.
Excellent. Kavita ma'am, more punchy now.
Difficult work. Okay. So I think one thing which I would say for Cummins, a great example is our launches, okay? Because as we go into more and more launches, there's always a most, important thing is how it should ensure that there should be zero defect. And at the same time, you should also ensure with a zero defect, everything to do with warranty, policy, everything has to have a stringent budget. Okay, so and what we did is, proactively we put the quality corridor during our product development process. And that has given us a real great success in terms of 2 of our best launches, which we just very recently had.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
excellent.
it's really appreciated because it's given back to the business. As we say, able enterprise, that our cost of warranties have been far, far lesser than any time in our history.
Excellent. You already had given an inspiring story. It's some real short story.
I know, I'm getting the shortest time right now. So basically, I'll give you a celebration of culture of quality. Just happened last week in my organization. Another client of us, a global remittance company. Son, very well settled in US, earning good dollars. Mother, very ill in India, about to be admitted to the hospital. We do instant payments right now. The remittance company does instant global payments. The person just made the payment, it got stuck. That reached one of our BPM employee. At the employee's empowerment, she can't do much. She can just look at the thing, the wrong numbers, and she can collect. That lady, and I'm very proud to say that culture exists within our organization, stood up, stopped the calls, went to her supervisor, made her supervisor call the client, made the client call to the transaction department where 2 banks were conflicted, got a bank unblocked. She was supposed to spend 2 minutes on the transaction. She spent 2 hours. But that NRI's mother got admitted. Today she's back home. That is how we celebrate culture of quality. Thank you.
Great, great. I have a small story to tell. RPG Life Sciences is a part of large RPG group, and we had a big achievement that our market cap moved from, I was talking about market cap earlier, so our market cap moved from what it was to 9.5 times, close to 10 times in 4.5, 5 years. And there was huge celebration was being requested by the entire management team and the company team. We said, yes, we will celebrate, but we will celebrate with a little bit of difference. And the difference was that each one of us in the entire organization has to identify those small issues which eventually impact the quality. And what we mentioned would impact the regulatory approval, because regulatory approval encompasses everything. We collected, an entire organization collected 1,000 issues pertaining to quality. 1,000 issues pertaining to quality, and then was the time to solve those issues. Every single team solved those issues which are pertaining to quality and announced themselves a happy quality team. And then in the entire organization, the photographs of all of them were circulated, and that was the true celebration of quality and eventual achievement. And that was the very inspiring story which I thought I should share with you. So with this, I think the time is up. We were given the time of 4:45, and we are right on time. And I want to thank my esteemed panelists who represented a variety of industries, and they brought out perspectives, experiences, and the examples, which I think all of us could take some inspiration from, even if it makes a slight difference in respective organization. As I said in the beginning, this particular panel discussion would have made some tangible difference in the quality movement of this country. Thank you. Thank you so much.